Every soul carries a frequency all its own, a unique vibration shaped by experiences, values, dreams, and the quiet inclinations of the heart. This frequency is invisible, yet it determines the kind of energy we attract, the connections we form, and the life we are capable of living. To understand this is to realize that not every companionship, every friendship, or every encounter can reach the depth we secretly long for. Most relationships brush only the surface, echoing familiarity without resonance. But within the vast expanse of human connection, there exists a singular soul whose frequency aligns with yours, whose rhythm synchronizes with your own, and whose presence amplifies the person you were meant to become. Recognizing this is not an idle romantic notion. It is an invitation to live deliberately, to understand that depth and authenticity are rare and precious. Yet, such resonance does not appear by chance. It is a reflection of the work you have done within yourself. The soul that matches your frequency is not merely attracted to your external presence, but to the authenticity of your inner life. This is why self-mastery is essential. To resonate with another, you must first know your own values, understand your own fears, embrace your unique strengths, and confront the parts of yourself that require growth. Without this alignment, any connection you pursue will feel forced or hollow, like two musical notes that clash instead of harmonizing. True connection requires clarity about who you are and what you bring into the world, because the soul that matches yours will respond only to the real you, not a shadow of what you pretend to be. Patience is equally indispensable in this journey. The soul that mirrors your frequency will not appear simply because you wish it so. It will emerge in its own time through moments of readiness and circumstances aligned with both your path and theirs. To seek this connection hastily, or to settle for what is convenient, is to ignore the profound design of resonance. Discernment becomes a guiding light in recognizing the rare presence of a kindred soul amidst the noise of everyday encounters. Every superficial connection can teach something. Yet the one who matches your frequency will speak to the core of your being, encouraging a depth of understanding that others cannot reach. The alignment of two frequencies is never about sameness, it is about complementarity. The right soul does not merely reflect who you are, they challenge you, push you toward growth, and strengthen the areas of your life that you might neglect. This mutual enrichment is what transforms a simple relationship into a force for personal and spiritual elevation. When two aligned souls meet, there is an almost imperceptible understanding that emerges, a quiet recognition that together, the sum becomes far greater than the parts. The responsibility that comes with such a connection cannot be understated. Being chosen, or choosing wisely, is not merely a privilege. It is a commitment to honor the rare alignment that has occurred. It requires honesty, integrity, patience, and ongoing self-awareness. It asks that we nurture what is extraordinary rather than take it for granted, and that we continue to refine our own frequency so that the resonance remains true. In a world that often celebrates quantity over quality, speed over depth, and conformity over individuality, this kind of alignment reminds us that rarity is sacred. So, if you are seeking a soul that matches your frequency, remember that it begins with the courage to know yourself, the patience to wait without settling, and the wisdom to recognize resonance when it appears. The one who matches your vibration exists, not as a fantasy, but as a reality for those who have prepared to meet them. And when you find this rare connection, it will not only illuminate your life, but also awaken the potential within you to become the fullest, most authentic version of yourself. Every individual carries within them a frequency that is utterly unique, a rhythm of existence that cannot be replicated or duplicated. This frequency is not something that can be seen with the eyes or measured with instruments. It is subtle, woven into the very essence of one's being. It is composed of countless elements, the experiences one has endured, the lessons learned through both triumph and failure, the quiet reflections of the heart, and the inherent inclinations that define personality. It is the invisible blueprint of one's soul, a vibration that determines the way we perceive the world, the choices we make, and the people and opportunities we attract. To grasp this concept is to recognize that each human life is not simply a random occurrence, but a complex, intentional composition of energies and potentials. No two frequencies are exactly alike, and this uniqueness is what gives every individual a distinct place in the fabric of existence. Understanding one's own frequency requires a deep engagement with self-awareness. It is not enough to know surface-level preferences or habits. One must explore the deeper currents that shape desires, fears, motivations, and passions. Every moment of introspection, every encounter that challenges our understanding of ourselves, contributes to the refinement of this internal vibration. Consider how life experiences mold us differently. Two people may undergo similar circumstances, yet their reactions, interpretations, and emotional processing will diverge, producing distinct frequencies. One person may emerge with resilience tempered by caution, while the other develops creativity tempered by empathy. These subtleties, often invisible to the outside world, are what form the signature rhythm of the soul. Recognizing this frequency is therefore not an act of vanity or self-indulgence. It is an acknowledgement of the intrinsic value and uniqueness each person brings to existence. The frequency of an individual is expressed in countless ways, both tangible and intangible. It can be found in the choices one makes, the priorities one holds, and the manner in which one interacts with others. A person's frequency resonates through their creativity, their ability to solve problems, and even the tone and intention behind their words. It manifests in energy and presence, and in the subtle vibrations that others instinctively sense when they are near someone. Often, people are drawn to one another without knowing why, and this is rarely coincidental. Such attraction is the subconscious recognition of a frequency that is either harmonious or complementary to one's own. This explains why some connections feel effortless and natural, while others feel discordant and draining. The resonance of a unique frequency can be magnetic, drawing into one's life experiences, relationships, and opportunities that align with the inner rhythm of the individual. It is also crucial to recognize that one's frequency is dynamic rather than static. It evolves as we grow, as we encounter challenges, and as we refine our understanding of ourselves. Life's trials, successes, joys, and losses all contribute to shifts in this vibrational pattern, often deepening it and adding richness to one's essence. Just as a musical note can resonate differently depending on the instrument and context, a person's frequency can express itself differently depending on their stage in life, their environment, and their level of self-awareness. The challenge lies in maintaining authenticity while evolving. Some may attempt to conform their frequency to external expectations, suppressing their true vibrations to fit social norms or avoid conflict. While this may produce temporary comfort, it ultimately creates dissonance, making it harder to attract experiences and people that truly align with their authentic self. Recognizing the uniqueness of one's frequency also fosters respect for the individuality of others. It illuminates why relationships, collaborations, and encounters succeed or fail depending on the alignment of these subtle energies. When we understand that each person carries a vibration as distinct as our own, we become more discerning in how we invest our time, energy, and emotions. We learn to seek resonance rather than mere convenience, to value depth over superficiality, and to cultivate interactions that enrich our frequency rather than deplete it. In doing so, we not only honor ourselves, but also honor the integrity of our connections with others. Understanding and embracing one's unique frequency is a journey of self-discovery and empowerment. It requires courage to explore one's inner landscape, honesty to confront both strengths and vulnerabilities, and patience to refine one's energy through experience and reflection. The individual who is attuned to their own frequency is equipped to navigate life with clarity, to attract experiences that support their growth, and to recognize the rare souls whose frequencies harmonize with theirs. In this awareness lies the potential for profound connection, meaningful contribution, and a life lived with intentionality, authenticity, and resonance. Every person's frequency is a testament to their singular existence, a vibration that echoes through the world in a pattern only they can produce, and a force that ultimately shapes the life they are destined to live. True connection is a rare and precious phenomenon, far more uncommon than most people realize. In a world filled with surface interactions and fleeting relationships, the depth of understanding between two souls who genuinely resonate is exceptional. Many people go through life engaging in conversations, forming friendships, and entering relationships without ever experiencing the profound resonance that comes from a true connection. This rarity is not a matter of circumstance alone. It is a reflection of the complexity of human nature, the diversity of experiences, and the individuality of personal frequencies. True connection requires more than mere presence. It requires alignment, understanding, and a shared openness to authenticity. It is not something that can be manufactured, forced, or superficially sought. It emerges naturally when two people meet in a space where honesty, empathy, and compatibility converge, and even then, it is a fragile and delicate alignment that must be recognized and nurtured. Most connections we encounter are functional or convenient, shaped by external needs rather than internal resonance. People interact for work, social obligation, or temporary companionship, and these interactions often lack depth. While these relationships serve practical purposes, they rarely touch the core of who we are. A true connection, by contrast, reaches beneath the surface, engaging with the essence of a person's being. It allows for vulnerability without fear, understanding without judgment, and communication that transcends words. In such a connection, both individuals sense an intuitive understanding of one another, as if their experiences and emotions are mirrored in ways that are unspoken yet deeply felt. The recognition of this alignment is immediate for those attuned to it, yet for many it goes unnoticed, disguised by the noise of everyday interactions and the superficiality of modern social dynamics. The rarity of true connection is magnified by the uniqueness of each individual's frequency. Each person's energy, perspective, and emotional makeup are distinct, and not everyone is capable of harmonizing with another's inner rhythm. While it is easy to find companionship or casual friendship, finding someone whose frequency complements, rather than clashes with your own, is far less common. This is why many meaningful relationships fail, not due to a lack of affection or intention, but because the underlying frequencies are misaligned. People may care deeply for one another, yet without resonance, there will always be a subtle dissonance that prevents the connection from reaching its fullest potential. Recognizing this reality requires discernment and an understanding that compatibility is not merely a matter of shared interests or proximity, but a deeper, almost imperceptible alignment of character, values, and energy. Another factor that contributes to the rarity of true connection is the degree of self-awareness required to recognize and sustain it. Many individuals are not fully attuned to their own frequency, and without this awareness, they cannot perceive or attract those who resonate with them on a deeper level. A soul that has not yet explored its own strengths, weaknesses, and core desires may mistake superficial affinity for true connection, or may fail to recognize the rare alignment when it occurs. Therefore, cultivating self-knowledge is not only a personal responsibility, but a prerequisite for experiencing meaningful relationships. It is the foundation upon which resonance can be identified and nurtured, allowing one to distinguish between fleeting acquaintances and connections that have the potential to transform life in profound ways. The rarity of true connection also emphasizes the value of patience and selectivity in human interactions. In a society that often prioritizes speed and quantity, the temptation to settle for convenient connections is strong. Yet those who understand the significance of genuine resonance recognize that it is worth waiting for the soul that truly matches their frequency. Such patience requires confidence, self-respect, and an understanding that not every presence in one's life is meant to remain permanently. The ability to discern, to say no to relationships that do not resonate, and to remain open to the rare connections that do, is an expression of both wisdom and courage. The understanding of true connection as rare encourages a deeper appreciation for the relationships that genuinely matter. When such connections are discovered, they must be nurtured, protected, and honored. They become sources of strength, inspiration, and mutual growth, elevating both individuals in ways that superficial relationships never could. These rare alignments teach the importance of authenticity, empathy, and intentionality in human interaction. They remind us that while companionship is common, resonance is extraordinary, and the effort required to recognize and sustain it is justified by the depth and fulfillment it brings. True connection, being rare, is also transformative. It not only reflects who we are but shapes who we become, revealing the full potential of human relationships and the profound beauty of harmonizing with another soul in the complexity of life. Self-mastery is not merely a concept of personal discipline or the ability to control impulses. It is the foundation upon which meaningful connection and authentic resonance with another soul are built. To attract a soul that matches your frequency, one must first understand, refine, and align the inner life of their own being. Without this alignment, any attempt to connect with someone on a deep level will be hindered by unrecognized flaws, unresolved fears, and mismanaged emotions. Self-mastery involves a deliberate exploration of one's thoughts, desires, and motivations, a willingness to confront areas of weakness and shadow, and a commitment to nurturing the qualities that reflect one's highest potential. It is an ongoing process, requiring honesty, courage, and reflection, because the individual who seeks a meaningful connection cannot rely on superficial traits or transient charm alone. Resonance arises from the authentic expression of a mature and integrated self. Understanding oneself begins with awareness of the patterns that govern behavior. Many people live in reactive states driven by habit, fear, or the desire for acceptance, without truly examining why they respond as they do. Self-mastery demands that one pause, observe, and analyze these internal patterns. It asks difficult questions. Why do I react with anger or withdrawal in certain situations? Which aspects of my personality are authentic and which are shaped by external expectations? How do my past experiences influence my present behavior? Addressing these questions does not happen in a single moment. It is a lifelong process of introspection, learning, and refinement. Through this, a person begins to cultivate a stability of character that allows their frequency to shine with clarity rather than being distorted by unresolved inner conflict. Equally important is the mastery of emotions. Human beings are often vulnerable to emotional turbulence. Jealousy, insecurity, resentment, and fear can cloud judgment and distort relationships. To attract a soul whose frequency resonates with yours, emotional discipline is essential. This does not mean suppressing feelings or pretending to be unaffected by life's challenges. Rather, it means understanding emotions, allowing them to inform decisions without allowing them to dominate actions. A self-mastered individual responds with awareness rather than reaction, communicates with clarity rather than projection, and approaches relationships with empathy rather than neediness. Emotional mastery ensures that interactions with others are authentic, balanced, and harmonious, increasing the likelihood of forming connections that reflect true resonance. Self-mastery also encompasses the conscious development of one's strengths and the diligent management of weaknesses. Every individual has unique talents, abilities, and gifts, but these must be cultivated deliberately to reach their full potential. Similarly, weaknesses, whether in character, habits, or attitudes, must be acknowledged and addressed, rather than ignored or excused. The person who is not committed to personal growth and refinement is unlikely to attract a soul capable of matching their frequency, because misalignment inevitably arises when two incomplete selves attempt to resonate. Conversely, a self-mastered individual is continually evolving, improving, and harmonizing their inner landscape, making them capable of sustaining a connection that is balanced, supportive, and mutually enriching. Another critical aspect of self-mastery is integrity, the alignment of one's actions with one's values and principles. Without integrity, One's frequency becomes inconsistent, sending mixed signals to the world and confusing potential connections. True resonance requires consistency between what one believes, what one expresses, and how one behaves. When a person lives with integrity, their frequency is stable, predictable in its authenticity, and attractive to those whose own frequency is similarly aligned. Integrity also fosters trust, which is essential for deep connection. No meaningful resonance can occur without the confidence that both souls are presenting their true selves. Self-mastery instills patience and discernment, qualities essential for recognizing and sustaining meaningful connections. The individual who has cultivated inner stability, emotional intelligence, and integrity does not rush into relationships or settle for superficial resonance. They understand that only a soul whose frequency genuinely aligns with theirs will create a connection of lasting depth and significance. This patience ensures that when the right connection appears, it is recognized, appreciated, and nurtured rather than overlooked or wasted on distractions. Self-mastery is, therefore, not an abstract virtue but a practical necessity. It prepares the individual to engage with the world authentically, to resonate fully with others, and to form bonds that are rare, meaningful, and transformative. Patience is not simply waiting, it is the conscious cultivation of timing, awareness, and the understanding that meaningful outcomes cannot be forced. In the pursuit of a soul that matches your frequency, patience becomes an essential virtue because true resonance cannot be rushed. Many people attempt to accelerate connection through convenience, compromise, or impatience, failing to recognize that the deepest and most fulfilling bonds emerge only when the individuals involved have reached a point of readiness. Patience allows a person to respect the natural unfolding of life, to understand that experiences, relationships, and personal growth occur in alignment with one's evolving frequency. It is an acknowledgement that the rare soul whose energy harmonizes with yours will appear at the right moment, often when you have developed the awareness, maturity, and clarity necessary to recognize and sustain that resonance. Discernment works hand in hand with patience, serving as the lens through which one evaluates opportunities, interactions, and connections. While patience is the willingness to wait without forcing outcomes, discernment is the capacity to recognize what is worthy of investment and what is not. Not every presence in your life will resonate with your core, and the ability to distinguish between superficial affinity and deep, meaningful alignment is vital. Discernment requires observation, reflection, and an honest assessment of the energies, intentions, and values present in those you encounter. It is an active process, not passive indecision. It is the careful consideration of compatibility, authenticity, and potential for growth in every interaction. Without discernment, patience may become complacency, allowing fleeting or misaligned connections to consume time, energy, and emotional resources that could be devoted to nurturing truly resonant relationships. The interplay of patience and discernment also teaches the value of timing in human relationships. Even when two individuals share potential compatibility, the circumstances may not yet be aligned for true resonance to occur. Personal growth, emotional readiness, and life circumstances all influence the capacity to connect authentically. Those who understand this principle avoid the common mistake of forcing relationships to fit an arbitrary timeline, recognizing that rushed connections often lead to frustration, disillusionment, and compromise. Patience provides the space for individuals to mature, while discernment ensures that the connections they eventually cultivate are genuine and sustainable. Together, these qualities form a filter that separates temporary convenience from lasting resonance, ensuring that the energy and attention invested are directed toward interactions that honor the depth of one's frequency. The practice of patience and discernment deepens self-awareness. By waiting without settling, an individual learns more about their own values, needs, and non-negotiables. Every encounter that fails to resonate becomes a lesson in understanding what truly aligns with one's frequency, refining the criteria for recognizing the soul that is meant to match one's vibration. Similarly, Discernment encourages the cultivation of personal boundaries, teaching individuals to protect their energy and focus on what contributes to growth rather than distraction. These skills are not only critical in recognizing compatible souls, but also in sustaining authentic, healthy, and balanced connections once they are discovered. The rarity of genuine resonance makes patience and discernment indispensable. In a world dominated by speed, distraction, and the temptation to settle, these qualities allow an individual to resist superficial allure and to wait for the alignment that is truly worth experiencing. Patience cultivates resilience against disappointment, teaching that delay is not denial but preparation. Discernment sharpens perception, ensuring that recognition of true alignment is not clouded by superficial appearances or fleeting emotions. Together, they empower a person to navigate the complex landscape of human relationships with wisdom and intentionality, creating conditions for the rare and extraordinary connection to emerge naturally. Patience and discernment are the guiding principles that protect the integrity of one's frequency while seeking resonance with another. They remind individuals that not every connection is meant to last, that not every attraction is meant to evolve, and that timing is as critical as compatibility. Through patience, one develops the capacity to wait without compromise, and through discernment, one learns to recognize alignment when it appears. These qualities transform the search for connection into a conscious, deliberate practice, ensuring that the eventual union of frequencies is authentic, sustainable, and transformative. In cultivating patience and discernment, individuals not only increase the likelihood of finding a soul that truly resonates with theirs, but also elevate their own capacity for growth, understanding, and meaningful engagement in every aspect of life.